Hello there, welcome to the first Pokemon video ever on this channel. Well, sort of. Now, a while back, when my channel was still in its early days, I tried to do a Pokemon video since that was one of my two passions that I wanted to bring to YouTube, along with Geometry Dash, of course. And so, I decided to start a Let's Play series on the popular Nuzlocke game, Pokemon Insurgence. However, this series didn't really come to fruition, and I ended up privating all of the videos, simply because, 1, I was having microphone problems, 2, I still used Bandicam at the time, which is a very crappy recorder, and 3, it was just kind of an uninteresting series overall. I wasn't that interesting as somebody who's making Let's Plays, so I stopped after the third part and didn't touch it after that. However, I decided to change this, but this time, it's going to be a bit different. It's not going to be a Let's Play, but instead, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Pokemon of all time. Now, if you're around the Pokemon YouTube community, you'll know that there are a lot of favorite Pokemon lists, but I still think it is a good way to start off my Pokemon video making career. And so, without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Number 10. Umbreon. Now, before we get into Umbreon, let's start with Eevee, its pre-evolution. Eevee is a pretty great Pokemon overall. Despite it being a bit overrated in my opinion, it still manages to be a cute Pokemon with a really cool concept behind it. The idea of adapting to its environment with several different evolutions is great, and even if some of them are out of the ordinary, they still manage to be solid Pokemon overall. Now, onto Umbreon. If you were to ask me which evolution was the best, I'd say Umbreon, no question. For starters, it's a really cool Pokemon alone. Umbreon seems like a dark type that's less evil as the typing would imply, rather symbolizing the moon and night. It also has an amazing shiny, which only makes it better. Overall, Umbreon is super cool and definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 9. Gallade. Gen 4 introduced a lot of really good evolutions to already existing Pokemon, like Electivire or Porygon Z for example. However, I find Gallade to be the best out of all of them. It's cool and looks fearsome, what with the frickin' blades for arms. It also looks kinda majestic in my opinion, making it more well-rounded as a Pokemon. Its typing is really cool as well. Psychic Fighting is pretty awesome and it's only shared with the Medicham line. And out of those two, I'd take Gallade any day. Oh yeah, and its Mega form is even better. Look at that cape, dude. I really wish Gen 8 kept Mega Evolutions, because even though some Gigantamax forms are super cool, it costed us Megas like Gallades. Number 8. Vikavolt. Gen 7 is probably the Pokemon game that holds the most and best memories for me. While I did play X and Y and Oras first, Sun and Moon always stood out to me and quickly became my favorites. Maybe it was a new Pokemon, the Alolan forms, the Ultra Beasts, or just the game overall. Now, while I can't say I had a Vikavolt on my team during my first playthrough, I can say that it is, without question, my favorite bug type in the entire game. This thing looks cool as heck. Bug Electric is a really cool type combination, and just something about Vikavolt just makes it so cool. I can't tell what it is. Perhaps if Charge-a-Bug was easier to evolve in Gen 7, then Vikavolt could be even higher on this list. Number 7. Toxtricity. There are a number of things that contribute to Toxtricity's placement here. First, let's talk about its two forms. While I lean towards the amped up form in terms of design, the low-key form is almost just as good. Both of the forms look great. The Pokemon itself in terms of battling and design is a massive step up from its pre-evolution Toxel. Now, Poison Electric is a typing we've never seen before, and it makes for some interesting gameplay. On one hand, stay the heck away from ground types. On the other hand, the two types offer a lot of coverage for different Pokemon. Toxtricity's moves and abilities are also super cool. Punk Rock is an amazing ability and it makes Boom Burst even more broken. The ability also contributes to Toxtricity's signature move, Overdrive, which is basically a better discharge. Finally, let's talk about Toxtricity's Gigantamax form. It's frickin' incredible. That's all that needs to be said. Number 6. Latios. When I first played Alpha Sapphire for the 3DS, I caught a Latios fairly early into the story, and wondered if the legendary was in a duo or trio of some sort. Fast forward a couple months, and I received the game's counterpart, Omega Ruby. There, I was introduced to Latios, and on that day, Latios became my favorite Pokemon. Almost immediately, in fact. Now, I'm not sure why I liked Latios so much as a kid. I still like it quite a lot, being based off of both a dragon and a jet plane. I do a lot of traveling on planes, but I don't think that contributed to my love for Latios as a kid. I don't think I'd like Latios nearly as much had I only played Alpha Sapphire, or maybe just skipped the Gen remakes in the first place. However, I'm glad I picked them up, because despite what IGN had to say, I really did enjoy these games. Number 5. Lucario. If you remembered that back at number 8, I mentioned that I played X and Y before the other games, then good for you, because this ties directly to Lucario. While X and Y aren't nearly as prominent in my memories as Sun and Moon are, the addition of Mega Evolutions and the story itself really captivated me into Pokemon. Lucario was my favorite Pokemon in X and Y. After being gifted it to you by Corona, it will be the first Pokemon of yours to Mega Evolve. Lucario's Mega Evolution is cool as heck, so this was a good decision. Lucario also has a really cool origin, being based off of the Egyptian god Anubis. As I played through X and Y more, Lucario formed more of a bond for me, eventually becoming one of my all-time favorites. Riolu is also a cool pre-evolution. It's cute, cool, and is a nice segue into Lucario and its Mega. Number 4. Mimikyu. This is one of the most charming Pokemon ever created, at least in my opinion. The backstory behind it is that its physical form is so disturbing and grotesque that it causes physical harm to those who view it. Pokemon Sun and Moon even go as far to say someone died from the shock of seeing it. That's dark. Knowing this, Mimikyu tries to hide itself by wrapping itself under a cloak that looks vaguely like Pikachu to emulate the Pokemon and its popularity. Funnily enough, Mimikyu was so well designed that it is, right now, more popular than Pikachu itself. That is one impressive feat. Its fascinating backstory, along with the cute yet sad outcome, makes for a great Pokemon overall. Congrats, Mimikyu. You fulfilled your goal and you were able to surpass Pikachu. Well done. Oh, I forgot to mention, it is a really cool shiny. Number 3. Incineroar. And its 2 pre-evolutions. This right here is a perfect evolution line. Flawless. Mwah! So let's start with Litten, an adorable yet cool looking fire cat. I, being a cat lover myself, instantly fell in love with this Pokemon as soon as it was released, and couldn't wait to see what it evolved into. Then, you have Torracat, a fearsome yet cool looking fire tiger. There's really not much to say about it other than its fire collar is super cool in my opinion. Then finally, you have Incineroar. Now, when it was first revealed, I was a bit worried that it would be yet another firefighting type. But instead, we got a Fire Dark type, which I think it suits it very well, along with its signature move, Darkest Lariat. It looks fearsome, almost malicious at times, but is able to be a great looking fire starter. The Incineroar line was one of the many contributing factors that made Sun and Moon my favorite Pokemon games. And while Sword and Shield may take that title in the near future, I still think the games and many of the Pokemon are near perfect. Number 2. Marshadow. How to do a mythical Pokemon right. Marshadow is frickin' incredible. It's super cool and also really cute at the same time. I like how if it gets angry, it turns into a new form called Zenith Marshadow, where some parts of its body become green and its eyes flare up. The Ghost Fighting type combo is amazing and was one we've never seen before. Better hope you're not a normal type going up against Marshadow. And of course, it's broken as heck in the competitive scene. Spectral Thief is incredibly broken, and honestly, I kind of understand why Marshadow would be banned in a competition. Overall, an almost perfect Pokemon. I will never stop loving Marshadow. Number 1. Now, before we get into this pick, I know that this might come across as weird or kind of stupid for some of you guys, but trust me, I have valid reasoning for liking this Pokemon as much as I do. So, without further ado, number 1, Dracovish.
Kids, won't you step outside for a second? Fiddle-dee-dee!
So firstly, the fossils in Gen 8 are cool as heck. The sad yet interesting concept of discovering prehistoric Pokemon that didn't actually exist due to mixing two fossils together is really cool, and can make for some really cool fan designs. Now, the reason I love Dracovish to death is a weird one. Firstly, for some reason, I think this is one of the cutest yet coolest Pokemon ever made. Its unassuming yet almost friendly looking face makes it look harmless, but take a look at Fish's Rend and this thing will haunt your dreams. I also really like how it's capable of running over 40 miles per hour, that contributing to both its apex predator status when it was quote-unquote alive, but also that just makes it cooler. Second, it is arguably the most broken move in the competitive scene so far. As I mentioned before, Fish's Rend is deadly, especially if Dracovish has a Choice Scarf or an X speed applied. It could possibly sweep an entire team regardless of resistances. Finally, I don't have anything else. I just love this Pokemon to death. Don't question me, please. Please don't sue me. I love Dracovish. And those are my top 10 favorite Pokemon, so far at least. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please consider liking the video and maybe even subscribing. As I am a relatively small channel, every like and subscription helps. So if you do decide to do either of these, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and remember to wear your face mask. Peace out, y'all.